Hey, greetings, knife fans. Got a Lionsteel knife here. No, this is not a knockoff or a clone. This is the real deal from Lionsteel. It just happened to rhyme, didn't it? Damn, I'm better than I thought I was. Lionsteel, Italy. And the steel is the Sleipner steel. You want some Sleipner in your life? Well, here's the knife. Moletta. And that's kind of the AKA of the designer, I guess. Pensado, and I don't know, I pronounce it Michelle. Pensado Michelle, obviously Italian name sounding kind of guy. And somebody's going to say, no, he's Japanese. I don't know where he comes from. Pensado Michelle. That's his name. That's kind of how it's spelled. It's spelled, and that's how I pronounce it. If I have mispronounced your name, sir, I apologize. We've got G10, green OD G10 scales. I believe you can get this knife in other colors. Check with Blade HQ. And you can buy this knife on Blade HQ for $169.95. And you got a stonewash blade. Very smooth. Look at that kind of crowned spine you got here. So this is really well done as far as fit and finish goes. I don't know if I'm digging on that pivot. It kind of looks like, kind of looks a little cheap. But there you go from the other end. Very straightforward. Nothing fancy, nothing over, embellished or anything. And you got a titanium backspacer that's incredibly smooth. I mean, it's just like, wow. Very, very smooth. And you got this, wire pocket clip, but it's deep carry, obviously. Right hand tip up. This is a flipper. It's a linerlock flipper. Like little less than 3.5 inch long blade. Why aren't we talking about it? Why don't we just measure it? So not quite 3.5 inches if you're looking right to the closest, like between 3.25 and 3 3/8 inch blade. It's supposed to be 3.43 inch blade. So you're talking about what? 8.5 centimeters, 20 centimeters overall, maybe 20.5 with the lanyard. And right at 8 inches, right at 8 inches. And blade stock. Wow, that's impressive. What is it actually supposed to be? I'm trying to look, and that's amazing. Yeah, I'm getting 4.8, almost 5 millimeters, which is, 0.178 of an inch. That's pretty thick stuff. Well, 4.5, somewhere in there. Yes, incredible. And talk about thick. How about this? 16 millimeters, over 16 millimeters across on the handle, which is 0.64 tenths of an inch. So over 6/10 of an inch. That's a fatty. That's a fatty. But you know what? This is a pretty cool knife. I was pretty impressed when I got it out of the box and looked it over. Got this one in with a group of knives from my buddy in New York named Wes. He's a viewer on this channel. And I like these knives because I didn't have to pay for them. That helps. And I get the joy of handling them and checking them out and putting them on the air, and you have the pleasure of seeing them here as well. And you got these little micro grooves along the G10. So that's grippy. That's real texturing. And you have this jimping that goes through here too. And that's grippy as well. You've got a liner lock No lock stick, of course, because this is a steel liner. This is titanium. This is steel. And actually, well, if you want to check this out, let me show you this. See this? You got stainless steel liner running along this scale here, but it's skeletonized pretty well. And then, of course, you got the steel liner here for the liner lock, correct? Lockup's pretty good, 40, 50%. So that's pretty healthy, and no lock stick. Of course, you got steel on steel, right? Not a problem. And you can feel that little detent ball. And detent solid is pretty tough. So when you flip this, the flipping action is really great because that holds that detent a long time. That's not a weak detent. When it does let go, it's fixing to open up. And it really swings free. It's got bearings. Wow. Feels good. Almost. You know what? This almost feels like an assisted opener. I mean, it's not. But it almost feels that way. Well, I was able to get lazy enough to not get it to engage. But if you just, if you just normally do your thing, it's going to open. I was just trying to be as light as I could and try not to get it to open. And it's possible, but it's not easy because this thing flows free. Really nice. Bearings, really smooth. And I mean, just look at how smoothed off that flipper tab is. And they put a little hole through there. That's cool. And easy to disengage. Look at that cutaway through here. I mean, you're looking at the liner lock. Wow, how easy is that? I mean, boy, how many knives, how many knives have we reviewed on this channel? Where, I mean, the scales are the same height. And then you have to try and dig and miss the first part of the scale to get to the liner lock or the frame lock on the other side. Pain in the rump. This one, not a problem. Not a problem at all. Really smooth. I mean, they crowned the spine to that blade. I mean, titanium backspacer, which, it gives you some, you'll feel a little magnetism going through here because, of course, you got the steel liners. And if you try and do this, you're still picking up magnetism of this hardware and the steel liners. So good luck with that. And yes, that's steel. And that feels magnetic too, but I don't know if I'm picking up the liners there too, because it doesn't feel as solid as I'm hitting there. So I'm not sure that these are steel. They could be titanium actually, because they don't have a lot of magnetism. So good point there. It doesn't say in the specs. Nice. Wonder what it weighs. Because, this is a perfect EDC size, although it might be kind of a big EDC for some people, but it's like 3.5, 8 inches overall. Yeah, it's in my world of EDCables. 5.6. So even though, well, let's get back here and let's do the grams, which should be about 159, yeah. I'm starting to guess these now. I've done so many. 5.6 ounces. So yeah, it's not terribly light, even considering they skeletonized the liner on the top, and it's G10. But that's a fat blade. That's thick stock. That's nice, but it's thick. Wow, that's sharp. Wow, that's nice. You know what? I just messed up my table. The stonewash makes it nice so you don't get the fingerprint stuff through. But, this is a tough knife. This would be a knife you could really use hard. I mean, it looks like it's really set up for that. And I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at this, and you look at this. See this wire clip? They don't say. I mean, they say it's right-hand tip up. Does that look to you like you could flip that? It looks to me like you could flip this, either side. the pocket clip. But it doesn't say anything in the actual specs. Oh, here. In case you're interested in the specs. You know, Lionsteel, stonewash, price $170. Ain't cheap, but you know, overall length, I got 8 inches. Oh well. I agree with the blade length and the thickness. Woo, it is. So that's good steel and 60 to 61 RC, man. That's draw point. Yeah, flat grind, which is real usable. I love that flat grind. Yeah, right hand. I mean, they're not saying ambidextrous or left hand, and they're saying tip up. Liner lock. Yeah, it's the KUR, K-U-R. Did we not say that? Yeah, it's the KUR, K-U-R. Which, hold on, now I'm going to say something that I'm probably wrong about. It was supposed to be a word that means wild man, something like that. So, and then now you can correct me because I probably said something wrong. Here's the model number on the box. But yeah, it was a word, and then I saw that, and I can't remember now. I forgot. Green. You know, the box is nothing to brag about. I mean, it's just, and you got the little bit of paperwork in there, and this, and the typical kind of Lionsteel box, but not exactly a presentation case for your $170. But you get a heck of a knife. That's really good steel. Flips really well. G10. You've got, you've got the stainless liners. This is really easy to disengage. No lock stick. And you know what? There's no blade play in here. And there's no lock rock. Any of that. And it's perfectly centered. This, I don't know. But you could probably, I mean, this lanyard hole and this backspacer that extends out as a one piece. You could probably use this as a striking instrument as well. I don't know about glass breaker, but, you know, you could also use it as, you know, a striking piece here. That's hard. That's titanium. But yeah, pretty knife and very functional. Not real big, but it kind of feels big. Why does it feel so big? I don't know. Here's your standard 3.5 EDC kind of thing. And it's pretty much the same size, maybe just about the exact same size. A little shorter overall. So that makes it interesting. You go, how much? I mean, we're using all of that handle. But, you know, no danger of getting nicked there. So that's interesting. You look at this one. Yeah, they're using all of that one too, pretty much. So, yeah, interesting. This is a little bit shorter overall, but the blade is pretty close to the same. So, very good, efficient use of space here. Not too heavy, but it's substantial. Cool knife. I like it. I thought it was a cool design. So there you go. Great, blade steel, very sharp. Looks like it could be a really hard to use knife too. Thank you so much for joining me today. And you know what we want to do? We want to love them knives, so stay sharp.